Sales leadership, and I think we all know this, for a lot of companies, most sales leadership is not really leadership, it's mentorship, and or I'll call it hero leadership, which is me telling you about what I've done before and how you should do it. It's advice giving. Yep. Most sales leaders today are not trained how to coach, ask questions. Okay, great. So Jake, I know you, what's the goal here? Okay, what are some options forward? Okay, based on that, okay, where do you think we're at today reality-wise? Okay, based on kind of these things, how should we move forward? Mm-hmm. How many of you sales leaders, I want you to look yourself in the eye, when a rep comes to you and talks about a deal, and a rep needs to work on a skill, how many of you pause and coach versus just give advice? Now, let me ask you this same question. How many times in the last 12 months have you given the exact same piece of advice? Therefore, I can create a custom GPT that is the Jake way of giving advice that a rep can go in. So, look, it goes back to a lot of the things, and again, we talked about empathy or mimicking behavior. If you are giving the same advice over and over again, it might make you feel good. And I think what happens, it gives us that little dopamine rush. I'm smart. I'm smart. And it's not conscious. A lot of it's subconscious. Oh, look at, they need me. Now, I don't think they're replaced, but Katie, can they manage 20 people now maybe? Can they manage 30 people? And I can also use Gen AI to have custom personal development plans. So man, I'm a coach 24/7. I am in the trenches. I'm building people up, and I'm actually not giving as much of the exact same deal advice. So that's my take on it, man.
I think it's going to, over the next year and a half, create a lot of super leaders where it will fill the gap. So I actually played with this idea 3-4 years ago when I was at Patient Pop of, we specialized reps, SDRs, AEs, inbound, outbound. And I had the thought, I was like, what if I specialized my managers? Because you have some managers that are great coaches. They're great at it, but they're really bad with like data and process.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Then you have other leaders where they're great process, data, but ask them to coach a call. Good Lord, like they can't. So I was like, what if, because you think about what a manager has to do, so I'm so empathetic with managers, you have to be good at all of it. You actually don't get to lean into your strengths. So what I did it for 1 quarter, where like this was the call coaching manager, this was the productivity manager, and this was the process manager, right? And I think AI is going to allow leaders, if they're self-aware enough, to admit where they are weak, to fill that gap.
Yeah, or play to their strengths, right?
Because what's going to happen, if you're a great coach, you will do it better than AI now.
Yes,
in
for
a
sure.
year and a half, but now you can. But if you're weak in data, it's going to lift you up so much higher. Maybe you're a great data person. It's not going to catch what you can catch, but it might help you coach better. So I think, to your point, I think leaders should be able to start to lead more people at once and have their gaps filled, because not every leader is great at everything.
Oh, sure.
Not every leader is great at everything. I know my flaws. I know the places that I am weakest. I know the places that I'm good. I want AI to fill those gaps, whereas I think too many people look at what they're good at and go, AI can't do it as good as me. That's not the point.
80%.
Look at what you're not good at and let it lift you up there. So that's what I think happens on the leadership side.
I like that. Not only filling in the gaps for the leader, and then also, kind of going back to what I was mentioning, where the ability to really scale your good best practices as well, and spend more time on the people side of it. I think that's critical.
Yeah.